about us. Think about you leaving.
Hello. Merry Christmas, everybody. See, we've got a few people in here already. Hope all of you are doing wonderful. I see Debbie over in Queensland. It's different weather there. It is different weather there. One step forward. Merry Christmas to you. Great question there. We'll get to that. Roel, what's up, my brother? D. Lynn, hello. Believe we are live everywhere. Kazi, Clements, what's going on? Pace Mama, all you guys on Instagram, thank y'all for being with us tonight. We're going to answer all your health and wellness questions, as you know. We're going to do this for about an hour or so. We'll be here till 8. And Doc's going to be in the building here shortly. He is getting ready. I am a little nervous that I missed some questions. So if I did, I apologize. Sometimes we'll have people send in questions throughout the week. If I missed you, I apologize. And I'll kind of have my eye on my email throughout the evening as we answer questions and hang out on this December 17th evening. As you guys know, I'll be kind of mentioning this throughout. So this is the last show of the year. We got Christmas Eve next Tuesday. And then, what is it? New Year's Eve, the following. Thank you. Thank you, Roel. Thank you for noticing. See that? I did that for my mom. Little Christmas spirit. Steve, what's up, my brother? Tom, what's up, brother? How's it going? Great to see everybody. If you have questions for Dr. Rogers, go ahead and put them in the comments. We're going to get to every single one. I see Kazi's from Melbourne. So glad to have you in here. I love Melbourne. My gosh, it's one of my favorite cities in the world. Merry Christmas, Pace Mama, to you. Love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see here. All right, Tom, let us know how the creatine's going. I love that. Terry, what's up from South Carolina? Hope you're staying warm over there. I believe you're in South Carolina now. I know you bounce around a little bit. I'm going to put this up because, one, I thought it was a really, really fun video from Dr. Rogers on the Common Sense MD on Performance Medicine TV. Worry about this, not that. I love this sort of thing. I think one of the things that Doc does best is kind of compartmentalize, all this different information in this health and wellness world, and what's something that you need to worry about and what's something that you don't need to worry about. That he helps me out with that quite a bit. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. But I love that episode. It's short. It's about 13 minutes. I'd encourage everybody, if you haven't watched it, watch it. There is an accompanying podcast notes on performancemedicine.net if you guys like to check those out and kind of read along. And then this, I hope you guys watch this, at least, put it on cue before Christmas Eve. The Christmas Classics, our nutrition coach, Lucas Schmidt, goes over all the favorite meals and dishes and all the Christmas stuff that you would love to eat, and goes the good, bad, and ugly. And, to be clear, it's all good. Now's the time of year that, I think we can indulge a bit. So he has a lot of fun on this episode. It's a 2-parter. The second part will come out on Christmas Eve next week. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Thank you, Debbie. I love that. Thank you, Tom. All right, let's see here. If you're new to the show, let me know. I'm Ben. I'm the host. We do Q&A every single Tuesday with Dr. Rogers. Sometimes my brother Andy will come on, and we answer health and wellness questions for an hour or a tad over. We love doing the show. We love being a part of this community. Thank y'all for allowing us to do this with you. Some of you I know are watching around the dinner table. Some of you might be on your phones. Wherever you're at, we appreciate you. And happy early Christmas to you. Cannot wait to golly, the next couple weeks are so much fun. I love this time of year. I don't normally go to the mall, but I think I'm going to go to the mall this week at some point. All right, who's new? Anybody new? Ivy, Clary, and JC. What's going on? The host with the most. Thank you. Ivy and JC with Ivy. Happy Tuesday to you. Shelly, thank you. Great question. Merry Christmas to you. I love that type of question. And we will certainly get to that one. If you guys have questions, put in the comments. We're going to get to every single one. I also, if you want your question to be a little more anonymous, I have an eye on my email. So just know that that's available. Ben@performancemedicine.net. And if I missed you, I apologize throughout the week. We did get one come throughout the week, so I'll get to that first, and then we'll go to the live portion of the show. We'll be doing that for the majority of the night. See, Doc is getting ready. All right, let's see. Yeah, Kazi, you're right. It's darn near Christmas in Australia. It's on the 18th. I love that time change is quite a bit. I was there this time last year. Sherry, what's up? Great to see you. Bianca, I see you. All right, let's see here. What else I got? What else? I'm just going to put this up. One, because I know we got Katie and Carter probably watching. The Dr. Rogers vitamins are a great gift, and we have it now. They're on our shop, performancemedicine.net/shop. You can also scan that QR code. Tom in the chat is digging the creatine. That also has HMB in it. We love talking about it. I'll put this up throughout the show. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the supplements. Is he ready to roll? All right, let's rock and roll. Oh, there we go. You're in the spirit.
Well, I was kind of forced to do this, but yeah, but this is our last show for a couple weeks because it's Christmas Eve, then New Year's Eve.
That's right.
Tuesday, so this will be our last show for a couple weeks. So happy holidays.
Happy holidays. You look very festive, as you can see here. You see my little prop?
Yeah, I do like that.
There in the background. We're festive tonight, guys. Merry Christmas to everybody, and hopefully we can help you guys out with some little bit of knowledge. And as always, stay kind of tuned to the comments. The people who are with us every week, man, some of the comments are even better than our answers up here. So definitely keep an eye on what people are saying. A lot of the listeners have great suggestions. Doc, you ready to roll?
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to give a little context for this one here. It's around low neurotransmitters. I'll give you a little bit of the story, and let's see if we can. I'm sure this will help not only this person, but quite a few more. First is right now, my wife and I are desperate. After shuffling from provider to provider and medicine to medicine, we finally got tests to show my wife has inflammation, most likely from leaky gut, leading to little to no neurotransmitter production, leading to wicked bad anxiety and brain fog, social anxiety, etc. So this is around. So a few odd things: go out the house, brain fog flares up. Eggs and beef also seem to cause some brain fog. Anxiety is getting better since starting to address the leaky gut with supplements. The question is, have you treated mothers with neurotransmitters, and was leaky gut the cause? Is there a general time frame in supplementation you'll use in this scenario? Any initial thoughts on this, Doc? And if you need any more clarification, let me know.
Yeah, there's a lot in that question. So yes, we do look at neurotransmitters sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of times when you can't figure anything else out, you start looking at those, especially with brain fog, depression, anxiety, and there is a huge connection, that gut-brain connection, that you have to consider for sure. And it's really kind of related to your microbiome, those bacteria in your gut that make neurotransmitters. The ones that I think about when you say neurotransmitters, it's things like serotonin, dopamine, glutamate, um, tryptophan. And really, I think when you think about what happens, most of your neurotransmitters, except for serotonin, are mostly produced in the brain by the neurons, but they're also produced and controlled by the gut, especially serotonin. More serotonin is produced in the gut than anywhere. Your immune system is located in your gut, which interacts with your neurotransmitters as well. And if you listen to my podcast on the female brain a couple weeks ago, remember that hormones influence your neurotransmitters tremendously. So you have to look at your hormones as well. So, with this patient, I would, of course, address the gut first. That's usually what I do with anybody with brain fog or what I think may be an autoimmune disease. But there's a lot of things you could do. The vagus nerve, the big, besides the spinal cord, it's the biggest, longest nerve in the body. Goes from your brain to your gut. It really is responsible for that rest and digest part of your being. But really, the microbiome is the most important thing. Actually, it's weird because the gut bacteria tell your brain what to do. They influence the uptake and degradation of these neurotransmitters that we're talking about, that can be responsible for a lot of things. Joy, happiness, anxiety, depression, ability to think clearly. So the first thing I would do, of course, and it sounds like you're starting to do it, is look at probiotics, prebiotics, and also some supplementation with some of the neurotransmitters or neurotransmitter precursors, like maybe L-tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin. And the other thing that I heard you say, did you say something about meat?
Yeah,
and
so
eggs?
eggs and beef also seem to cause brain fog to flare up.
You may have a kind of a delayed food sensitivity. The other thing, when you say beef, it'd be interesting because there is a weird syndrome called alpha-gal syndrome that is caused by a tick bite. It transmits this sugar into mammals, and it can cause. And the main thing it causes, alpha-gal syndrome, is an extreme allergy to red meat, and sometimes it kind of bleeds over into dairy a little bit too. It's probably not that uncommon a condition. So I would definitely look up alpha-gal syndrome and maybe go in and get a blood test for antibodies to this alpha-gal. That's the way to diagnose it. I've diagnosed a few, but it starts out pretty rigorously with rash, itching. You can get short of breath with it. You can get hives. It's usually pretty major, and usually involves a rash or a lot of inflammation. It triggers that off. So that'd be a good thing to look at, is alpha-gal syndrome. I really ought to do a podcast on alpha-gal. And the treatment on that is avoiding red meats, any meat with hair on it, basically, like venison and pork and beef. So think about alpha-gal syndrome, just to rule that out. I mean, it may be just that your guts become so inflamed, you have leaky gut, and then you get sensitive to all, some of the other stuff that you should be able to tolerate. And a lot of times, unless it is alpha-gal, then once you repair that leaky gut, some of those food sensitivities go away, especially the delayed food sensitivities. But it is true, your neurotransmitters have a lot to do with that gut microbiome. Because think about it, you have leaky gut, which means those tight junctions through inflammation allow toxins to get into your bloodstream from your gut that are not supposed to be there. It triggers off autoimmune diseases, arthritis, all kinds of stuff. It mostly starts in the gut. Well, your brain, you have a blood-brain barrier as well, and that can get leaky as well. And you can get things in your brain that are not supposed to be there. The blood-brain barrier is a lot harder to cross than the gut barrier. But you know, we see a lot of brain fog with COVID as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
You know, so a lot of times I'll use, besides, get the gut framed up, get it really healed through the use of pre and probiotics, something like Digest Shield, which is the best one we have. And then, supplement for anxiety, especially with things like ashwagandha, saffron, ginseng, rhodiola. There's a lot of them you can look at, L-tryptophan, and kind of play around with that a little bit. GABA, that's another one of the major neurotransmitters that I didn't mention before. And you can take GABA, valerian root, and before you get into using like SSRIs and things like that, if you can avoid them. But I mean, there's a lot of factors, of course, for anxiety, depression, brain fog. I love methylene blue. For brain fog, methylene blue may be the best thing out there.
I actually took some tonight. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My podcast on methylene blue, you look at that. So I love methylene blue. That patient should be on methylene blue tomorrow.
Yeah.
But look it up, and the ways to follow it, you can kind of follow those neurotransmitter tests. Sometimes, we'll do them in a Dutch test, which is a urine metabolite test. So we also look at hormone pathways. And you can get a specific neurotransmitter assay, which is, I assume, what you did. So just kind of heal the gut, try the supplements, do all the other stuff with that you would do with that. Look at your hormones, look at your inflammatory markers. Again, a Cleveland panel would be a good thing to do. So try those things, and even look up alpha-gal. You may want to be tested for that just to make sure. There's a spectrum of that disease.
Is there a time frame? It's mentioned here. Is there a time frame for the supplementation that we're talking about, or
before you retest? Yeah, I mean, I'd give it 3 months. I mean, this thing is not going to clear up overnight.
Okay. So supplement for 3 months with some of this stuff. I see Carter. What's going on? I see Carter's in here. Carter put in the stress relief, of course, and then the methylene blue. Thank you, Carter, for that. And then I don't know if this has anything to do with it or not, but it did say that she is a mother of 2. I don't know if this happened post-pregnancy but you did in the female brain episode. You talked about like how the brain changes with childbirth. I don't know if that's
the biggest change you'll ever have is a woman hormonally is childbirth. A lot of times it kicks off low thyroid. So I don't know the age of the patient that's asking this, but get worked up for it and try this stuff we've been talking about. Heal the gut first, because nothing will get better unless you heal the gut. You heal the gut, you'll heal the brain. The gut microbiome tell the brain what to do. It controls you. That's weird to think about, but that bacteria that's not even your DNA, it's bacterial DNA, tell your brain what to do. That's literally how important it is. That's why what you eat is so important.
Heal the gut. If there's nothing, if you guys don't get anything from this episode, get that. Heal the gut. I love that. Thank you, Doc, for that answer there. I'm going to give a couple quick shout outs to see Katie's in here. Katie, what's going on? Carter, Mark, I see you. I see Robert's in here. Great question there. Thank you. I see Kathy thank you, Kathy. Tabitha, what's going on? Tabitha's saying you need to wear this hat tomorrow to the office.
Try. I'll wear it next week.
Sandy, I see you. It's so good to see you. Guys, if y'all have questions for Doc, go ahead and put it in the comments. I see you, Shelly. Go ahead. I see Big Papa of 6. We're going to get to your question here in just a minute. If you have a question for Dr. Rogers, go ahead and put it in the comments. We're going to get to every single one tonight. I want to start with One Step Forward. Thank you, One Step Forward. Merry Christmas to you. I work outside and notice during the winter months my mucus gets thick and I can feel it in my sinus, and it restricts my breathing at night. Good during the day. I drink a lot of water and sleep with a warm mist humidifier and use Xlear nasal spray twice a day. I've been using a breathe right at night, but get irritation from tape. Any suggestions? This is a very common thing. So I'm glad you're asking this, One Step Forward.
Yeah. One thing I would do is, Merry Christmas. One thing I would do is use a Navage nasal irrigator. That's really one of the most helpful things you can do to help clear your sinuses out. There's no doubt in the winter, people's mucuses get thicker. You could even use a mucolytic if you wanted, like guaifenesin if you wanted. Certainly, I like Flonase. And sometimes it's worse at night when you lay down, just because you get blood. Have you ever noticed when you turn over one side of your nose gets stopped up and the other one will? That's a natural thing for the blood supply to shift around from one nostril to the other. I like the Breathe Right strips. You know, some of them aren't as irritating to your nose as other ones are. I've found. I do think the Breathe Right works better than some of the others that I've seen, like the Hostage tape as a nasal strip as well. You know, you really need to be a nose breather at night. You can even, if it irritates your nose on the tape part, the other thing you could do is, I forget what they're called, but I've tried a few of them. There are these little inserts with springs on them to open your nose at night. They're a little uncomfortable at night. Some people don't like them, but you can actually place them inside the nose and they open up that nostril so you can breathe at night. Because it's way better to be a nose breather than a mouth breather for your health. Make sure you don't have sleep apnea, like I found out I do. You know, see if you have some seasonal allergies. You know, maybe even try some Zyrtec if you have to. You know, try some of the essential oils at night through a mister, that kind of thing. But really interesting, and hopefully your immune system. Hopefully you're not getting sinus infections. But you know, don't eat late at night either. And just do a few of those little tricks and see what happens. There's a way you can solve that problem.
All right, One Step Forward. I hope that helps a little bit. I want to move to Instagram. I see Big Papa of 6. The question is, I can't put it on the screen, so you're just going to have to listen to it audibly. I'm currently 335. I have not been below 300 as an adult. The next 40 pounds will probably be my hardest psychologically. What would you suggest for overcoming this? They're thinking about getting a CGM, and they're down 55 pounds since August. That's incredible. And I hope, Big Papa of 6, I got everything there. That's all I'm seeing in the comments. Any suggestions here, Doc, for Big Papa of 6?
So the question actually was what? How do you overcome that psychological barrier?
Yes, the next
pounds.
40, the next 40 pounds. They've never been below 300. They're at 335 now. And what they're saying is there is a psychological barrier since they've never been under 300 as an adult. What would you suggest in overcoming that?
I'd say get ready to celebrate overcoming that psychological barrier, because you can get there.
Yeah.
You know, although there are psychological factors for weight, mainly your weight is a problem of insulin resistance metabolic syndrome. It's a gut hormone problem. That's why these new GLP-1s and GIPs work so well. So, you know, even mainstream medicine has changed their thoughts about, you know, weight over the last few years now that the GLP-1s have been out, and we've had tremendous success with using those medications to overcome that lack of that hormone called GLP-1 in your gut. Again, a lot of stuff is gut related, just like I talked about on the last question. So, it's not so much a psychological hurdle as it is a metabolic hurdle. So what you need to do is get an extensive blood work, like a Cleveland panel, and look at your insulin resistance, some of your other factors like inflammatory markers, hormone levels, cortisol, a good thyroid panel, and get to the root cause of the problem, which is probably gut hormone, metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance problem. Because even though there's some genetics involved in being that heavy, tendencies, of course, but what we know is that it's not a psychological problem. I know that's really not what he's asking. It's a psychological barrier, but you can blast past that barrier with the right kind of help. Somebody understands metabolic syndrome, because it's complex. Your weight is not a fact. You cannot lose weight just by eating less and exercising more. It doesn't work long term. You have to, and again, you can even try some of the natural GLPs like berberine if you want. But in my opinion, you need some help with this. And you're probably getting it. I don't know.
And I'm seeing here that they've been taking berberine, so that's been what's gotten them down to down 55, I believe.
Awesome.
So on berberine right now, which is incredible.
Yeah, that's great. Again, for most people, I think, especially if you're insulin resistant, lower carbs, intermittent fasting is kind of a general way of life. But so see how you do. Good luck, congratulations, and good luck. Don't worry about it. You can blast through that barrier, and you'll never look back.
Yeah. That's awesome, Big Papa of 6. I hope that helps a little bit. And if you need any clarification, let me know. I'm looking in the comments. I see Alpha MD. What's up, man? Great to see you. Okay, so they've just been on the berberine and carnivore keto with intermittent fasting. That's incredible.
Awesome. That's a good combination, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I really like it, but you want to sustain, you want to maintain that weight loss. Losing weight's easier than maintaining the weight loss, in my opinion. Not gaining it back. Leave out processed foods.
I'm going to get to Debbie over in Australia real quick on YouTube. Merry Christmas to you. I've come across a natural sugar substitute called allulose, and was wondering if if it's okay for a type 1 diabetic to use.
It's not only okay, it's by far the best one to use.
Yeah.
I have it in my pantry. My diabetic kids have it. I love allulose.
Yep.
It won't affect your blood sugars like some of the others, like Sweet and Low, NutraSweet, some of those terrible ones for your brain. So yeah, I love it. Actually, I have one that's has a combination of allulose and monk fruit in it.
Huh.
And it's maybe my favorite. So, you're wearing your CGM, and also if you get any bump at all, it'll be minimal.
Yeah.
I've done it. So congratulations. Have a wonderful, it's hot there, Ben. You were there this time last year.
It's summer.
They have warm Christmases.
That's right. That's right. Debbie, thank you so much for that question. I hope that helps a little bit. I'm going to get to Shelly here on Facebook. Merry Christmas to you. Wondering what Dr. Rogers recommends for someone with both arthritis and carpal tunnel in the hands. What's your thoughts on this?
Carpal tunnel can get so bad that you have to get it operated on. If it's terrible, if you start to lose a lot of motor function, weakness and all, and it's not just numbness, think about seeing a hand specialist. But arthritis in the wrist and thumb area is where it usually develops first. And I don't know that, if you want to do some natural stuff, I like our pain formula. I'm not trying to say a vitamin, but I worked on that for a couple of years because anybody 70 years old is going to have some arthritis, including me. But it has 6 different things in it. You know, it's all natural: willow bark, bromelain, boswellia, curcumin. There you flip. That's pretty good, Ben. Paractin, I think, is a secret ingredient in there. MSM, black pepper. I like this. You know, it's just, I take that every day. I think it's really helped me. I hardly ever have to get anything like Advil anymore. The other thing you may want to do, if it's carpal tunnel, besides quit doing whatever it is that may be causing it, you may, and wearing wrist splints at night, you may try a little bit of B6 as well. You know, that's a really good supplement for any kind of neuropathy. But you know, it just depends on how serious it is. Sometimes I use prescription medicines like meloxicam. Seems to be better tolerated and probably a little safer than ibuprofen or naproxen. And it's once a day, easy on your stomach if you really need a prescription medicine for it. But the other thing I've noticed through the years is a good diet.
Yeah.
You know, if you take out those inflammatory foods like sugar, glutens, dairy, nightshades, soy, processed foods, things tend to get better.
That's a great question, Shelly.
Try that and see. Hope it gets better.
I hope that helps a little bit. It's so interesting, you know, when you said the cutting out sugar and stuff. I've heard on this show people who have cut out sugar and all of a sudden, you know, they just feel better, you know, with some of these aches and pains. So definitely worth a try. Thank you, Shelly, for that question. Let's get to Coal Miner's Daughter on YouTube. Good evening to you. Advice for approaching doctors who don't want to communicate with family of a loved one in the hospital. Would you be satisfied with only speaking to a patient's nurse? Thanks. That's
No.
you know,
That's just poor form. You need to talk to the provider. You need to talk to the doctor. So tell the charge nurse, you want to talk to the doctor. Make sure, when are they doing rounds? I want to be here. Make sure they know I'm here. No, I mean, you deserve to talk to the doctor. You know, it's just ridiculous. You kidding? And don't worry about approaching doctors. I mean, they're there for you.
Yeah.
You know, you're their customer.
Yeah.
You're the one that's why they got into medicine. They want to help patients. And if they don't, find a new doctor.
Yeah.
You know, so communication is really important with physicians and all providers, nurses. You know, I've always said the nursing profession is really the backbone of medicine.
Yep.
You know, those nurses are good, and they should be good. They have to be good, and they have to deal with these doctors who sometimes don't want to spend the time with the patients, the one they're actually treating. They need to look at them and talk to them, examine them, and communicate with the family, because it's really important.
Yep.
It's really important. The other thing I always tell people, make sure if you do go in a hospital, make sure you have a relative, or somebody that can stay with you and look for you, look out after you. There's not enough nurses out there. There's not enough help. So get in there with them and don't be afraid of asking any question. And if you're not getting satisfied, go a level up if you need to. But,
yeah, I like that around being there when they're making their rounds. That's a great question to ask. You know, gives you a little bit of a little more control over the scenario. But what a great question, Coal Miner's Daughter. I know that's going to help more than just you in here. So thank you, and Doc, thank you for that answer there. Real quick for Kathy here. Kathy, thank you so much for being here. Is there a test for leaky gut? This is a great question. We've been talking about leaky gut tonight.
Yeah, there are tests for leaky gut. Usually we prefer to get a GI map, which is a stool test, but there are a couple tests in there I like called a zonulin level and a calprotectin level. And those are two. If they're high, that's a very good chance you have leaky gut, which is not much a medical term as people think it is, but it's a good term because it's exactly describes what's going on. Even the GI guys are starting to call it leaky gut. So yeah, get a GI map, and they'll tell you. And also, it looks at that pathogenic bacteria. It looks at your gut microbiome. But yes, there is.
Thank you, Kathy, for that. I'm seeing this is great from Mark. Thank you, Mark, for this. Serotonin precursors, 5-HTP, tryptophan, tyrosine mucuna. Thank you so much. L-theanine. Yep. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Let's get to Robert. Been on a GLP-1 for 4 months now. What's your recommendation for nausea and similar side effects? This is a very common question. I'm glad we get the opportunity to talk about it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of times, you get used to it and it goes away. After 4 months, if you're still having problems, some of it's dose dependent. So I'd like to know how successful you are and where you're at. My goal on the GLP-1s are to work your dose up to where as high as you can go and tolerate it, and get your weight to where you want it, and then slowly titrate it down, but stay on what I call microdosing. You need to stay on it. Remember, it's a maintenance drug. The other thing too, if you've been on the Ozempic, you might try Mounjaro because there's a lot less side effects. I told somebody today that when you look at them head to head, there's no doubt that Mounjaro, which is Zepbound, Ozempic, which is Wegovy, same things. In every head-to-head test, the Mounjaro comes out ahead. Less side effects, better weight loss. Ozempic was there first, so it's got the name. But so if you're on one, switch to the other one. Look at the dose, and sometimes I even use Zofran. Sometimes the timing of when you take the shot seems to help some people. And like take it at night on a Sunday night or Saturday night, when you sleep through the nausea, seems to be most prominent the day after you took it or so. But 35 pounds, that's good.
That's amazing.
Still not high stuff. Okay, so I'm telling you, try to switch to tirzepatide. Sometimes too, if you get stuck on one and not getting where, if you can't get up higher, switch to the other one. But so tirzepatide is just better, honestly. Even though I like semaglutide too, it's a little less expensive, especially if you're getting the compounded form of it. But what I propose to one of the drug reps today is the makers of Ozempic, what they should do. They know it's not as good a drug. They're trying to develop one just like Mounjaro. They will come out with it soon. Probably one that has 3 things in it, not just 2 like Mounjaro. Ozempic has 1 GLP. Is I think Ozempic should half their price. They should just cut the price in half. Their volume will go up because eventually they're not going to be able to compete with this other one.
Yeah,
in my opinion, but they both those companies, Novo Nordisk and Lilly. I don't know who's running them, but they've really screwed it up. They've got great drugs, but they've screwed up the marketing. They've screwed up the supply chain of it. They've overpriced it, and they've made it so hard to get. The insurance companies don't want to cover them. So maybe I should go to work for them, Ben. I could go be a consultant for them because I could probably help them out.
I guarantee you could. It's a great question. I really appreciate that, Robert. I hope that helps a little bit. And based on what I've heard from you in this show, a lot of it is just dose dependent, and some people respond better to one versus the other. With the semaglutide, tirzepatide. So
switch over to tirzepatide. If you're still getting nauseated 4 months later and you're not up to the highest dose, switch over and see how you do.
Katie Lynn, I see you. Emily, I see you. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are the best. Lisa, I got your question. We're gonna get you in just a second. All right, let's keep moving here. Thank you guys for all these amazing questions and comments. Rachel,
I hope my Ozempic reps aren't on here listening because I love them.
they're great.
I'm going to use the best medicine for the patient.
Let's see here. Where am I at? I'm looking for a question here. Okay. D. Lynn, thank you so much. I went by Dr. Tom's Kingsport office Friday. I picked up tallow and methylene blue. Thank you. I love the tallow. Katie put that up. Gosh, it was last week, I believe. Lady May, I dig it. How many drops of methylene blue do we take daily? I picked up the ice cream down the street.
Oh, good. Was it Baskin Robbins? Hey, I can tell you something. I don't think after mid-January we're gonna have to worry about what we say in here anymore. I really don't. I'm gonna say it anyway. So stay tuned. You'll know my real thoughts about some of the things that went on with what I'm talking about. But and anyway, I'd start out with 8 drops a day, go to 16. I just do 16 drops a day. Then you go to 32 if you really need it for memory, if you're having memory problems or energy problems. And it's still a fairly low dose. The ones that you have, those pills that you have, the Neuralink, are the pills that come with vitamin C in them. Remember, when you take the drops, pop a gram of vitamin C with them. Makes it work a lot better. But in any event, start there at 8, work your way up to 16. It's not going to bother you. I've only had 1 or 2 people that it kind of hyped them up. They had a little too much energy, but that's rare. And they were probably taking another medicine like an SSRI or something. There is that caution that I've never seen serotonin syndrome, knock on wood, ever. But anyway.
I love this from Carter. I've been taking the ice cream twice a week. Haven't gotten sick this year. Huge shout out to Randy at Heartland. Randy's the best. Huge shout out to Randy over at Heartland in Knoxville. I need to do the twice a week too. Is Carter, are you taking 1 twice a week?
She's probably taking 15 milligram twice a week as a prophylactic medication. I like it for other reasons as well. But yeah, the ice cream's great.
All right. Thank you, D. Lim, for that question. Let's see where I'm at. Merry Christmas to you, Lisa. Thank you for being here. I'm in a predicament. I have an upcoming right colectomy in January for a tumor at UT. They're going to put the 2 ends back together. In the meantime, I have severe arthritic pain. I can't take steroid injection, DT surgery, nor can I take NSAIDs because of ulcers in the stomach. Please, what if anything can I help to ease this pain? Well, shoot, Lisa, I'm sorry about this.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I hope you do well. You will. You just have to get through it. Yeah, it's true that you shouldn't take the anti-inflammatories for before your surgery. You could take really could take that pain formula. Although you probably shouldn't take that either because it has willow bark in it. How about could you take turmeric or curcumin? I think you probably could. You could take MSM. You could take some of the natural things that may help you. And certainly you could take Tylenol. Tylenol is not as effective for arthritis pain, but it won't bother your stomach, shouldn't. And if you have really severe pain, talk to your doctor about something called Ultram. I prescribe that to a guy today for something very similar to your case. It's a pretty potent pain medicine. It's not as potent as an opioid, but you don't want to get on those. And it's kind of a cousin of morphine, and they still classify it as a class 4 drug, but it seems to work really well, and I don't think it'll bother your stomach. You can drive with it, that kind of thing. Although it's a cousin of morphine, it's not going to give you any. Well, I won't say it won't give you any, but when it came out, they developed it as a non-addictive, safe pain medication. But since that time, many years ago, some people have gotten on too much of it and kind of gotten addicted to it. But that's not going to happen with you. They're going to use this temporarily. So ask them about Ultram, Tramadol,
Mm.
and see if they'll give you some of that. And if you want to do the natural stuff, try taking some turmeric and see how you do.
All right, Lisa, we'll be thinking about you. Keep us posted with how you're doing. I hope that helps a little bit. Thank you for being here as always. We're gonna keep going here. I'm just hoping I'm not missing anybody, and if I am, put it at the bottom. I'll see it. Let's get to. I see Mark here on YouTube. Every year, up to 30 to 35% increase in patients experiencing chest pain during the holidays. The holiday heart attack. Any recommendations for preventable measures? I'm really glad Mark brought this up because I know the holidays are a stressful time.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts on this from a preventative standpoint?
Well, I'm big on taking a baby aspirin every day anyway.
Mm.
I think it protects your heart. But there's no doubt that stress, lack of sleep, can cause heart attacks, as well as other deleterious conditions. But so sometimes I think people get too hyped up over Christmas. They don't look at the real reason we celebrate it, and it's too much pressure, not
Yep.
enough sleep, overeating, eating junk food, um, eating too much sugar, which causes inflammation, that kind of thing. Lack of exercise. So I would say keep your stress levels down by saying no to certain things. Don't worry about buying everybody and their cousin a gift. There's a lot of monetary pressure too
Yeah.
on the Christmas. And just enjoy it. Take a few days off, like we're going to do at Performance Medicine. I'm great, as Carter and Katie will tell you, I'm great on giving holidays, prolonged holidays. Like the week after Christmas, we're going to be closed. I always love that. And, taking some time off and realizing, stress kills. I mean, half the things that walked in my office are caused by stress. So, but that's a great point, Mark.
It's a great point.
I hope you can do those things lifestyle and maybe have it as a precursor to, a new lifestyle in the new year.
Yeah. And I mean, and Tom's in here and he'll agree with me. Exercise is, still, make sure you get out there, walk, do some resistance training this holiday. Exercise is so good for stress for me at least.
The best stress reducer out there, the best anxiety measure is exercise.
Mark, thank you for that.
That's a good thought. Sometimes, if you go out and do something for a complete stranger, you should do that over buying gifts for every cousin or nephew you have. Just go out there and do something for a complete stranger who's down on their luck that you see wandering around. Ernie told me a good story today. Ernie and I walk every day at lunch, and Ernie's would never brag about anything, but he gave this homeless guy on Christmas Eve some money because he was in the cold, and it does you as much good as it does them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, and Mark, thank you for letting us talk about it. Let's keep moving here. I'm seeing a few questions come in real quick for Lisa. And I'm going to get up here. I see I missed Lori. What brand of turmeric would be most beneficial? This was around pain.
Yeah, on your surgery. Probably the Life Extension or Now. Now makes a pretty good one. Just pure turmeric. It'll be in the form of curcumin. And again, always check with your doctor. Your surgeon may be very vigilant about it. You don't take anything, no vitamins, nothing. So I don't want to tell you to do something that may go against their feelings. So, I don't think they're gonna, diss it or anything, but you might want to always check with them. And certainly Tylenol, and if you need a prescription, something like Tramadol, maybe temporarily. And I like the other things too, like, um, gosh, um, I think compression, I think heat helps. Sometimes I think infrared saunas help. I just purchased red light therapy, a bigger one, and I'm really liking that a lot.
Mm,
So you can do some natural things as well, localized. You know, Epsom baths, salt baths are great.
yeah. I hope that helps, Lisa. I'm going to get to Lori real quick. Thank you, Lori, for being patient with me. Do you think ivermectin is good treatment for cancer or certain types of cancer? What's your thoughts on this?
I do use it that in some, yeah. No, I think it's a good adjunctive treatment. I do add it.
Mm,
Of course, I use fenbendazole quite a bit, and I use ivermectin, and a lot of times I use both.
mm,
Seems to work better on solid tumors rather than blood tumors. But if you do your research, and again, I'm not claiming this is going to cure your cancer, but because I always recommend you talk to the oncologist and get the traditional treatment, unless you just don't want to, and then that's your right. If you don't want to, they tell you, well, for your pancreatic cancer, you have 3 months to live without doing anything. You have 4 months to live or 6 months to live with this chemo that's going to just run you ragged and make you feel terrible. It's your decision. So a lot of times I'll see those kind of patients in the office, and I respect them. It's their decision, and just be educated about it. And there are alternative treatments that I've found to be beneficial. In some cases, very beneficial. But certainly, you can't make claims about it. This is going to
yeah.
cure your cancer. Just be cautious about that. And do the other things too, like vitamin C. Love vitamin C. IV. I love a keto diet for almost any kind of cancer. So more solid tumors that I've seen more success with than blood-borne tumors. But yeah, look at the research. Look at the research, and it's safe.
Thank you, Lori, for that question. I'm going to see. Okay, let's get to Shonda here. I've been diagnosed with liver fibrosis stage 3 or 4. What do you suggest I take? Well, shoot, Shonda, I'm sorry to hear this. What's your thoughts on this for Shonda?
Yeah, that's a toughie. I've got a couple patients that have this, and I would certainly pay attention to what your liver specialist tells you. Again, I'm big on dietary changes. Milk thistle, of course, is a good one. I'm almost hesitant without knowing more of your exact, what your labs look like and all that. Just avoid anything toxic to the liver, alcohol. Make sure you take a good probiotic like Digest Shield that also has digestive enzymes that'll help your liver process some of that. Avoid sugars, of course. Getting an infrared sauna. I think nutritional and dietary measures will help you with this. But, it's one of those things that, to be more specific, you probably have to look at your case more. And again, I'm not a liver specialist. I'm just telling you things I've seen over the last 40 years.
Shonda, we'll be thinking about you. Please keep us posted with how you're doing, please. Thank you for that question. Real quick, I'm going to put this up for Lisa from Mark. CBD with a CBD antagonizer topically for Lisa's pain. Any thoughts on this, Doc?
Yeah, I've seen Mark use these some, and they seem to work. It's a topical. Yeah, I like the CBD cream. That's a great point, really, Mark, because you could use it topically, and even if you just use CBD, you could try that. as well. You could even use it with DMSO, although you have to be careful about DMSO. Your surgeon may not want you to do that. Although I don't personally think it would hurt you, just allow things to get in there topically. I'm not sure if your doctor would be against just a local cream like Voltaren cream. Maybe not. If they don't want it, but so check with them before you do that. But great point, Mark, on that CBD.
Thank you, Mark, for that. I want to get to Dave's question, and then I see David here. We talked a little bit about this. True Height. There's a lot of ads going around. I've seen them as well. I have an athlete, 11-year-old, so they always catch my attention. What are your thoughts on these types of products, and or what would your team consider as the best options to support full potential in these crucial adolescent years? So I believe this has something to do with, growth, as well as, bone health, things of that nature. Any thoughts on this? Have you seen True Height?
I haven't seen the ads for that. I'm gonna look it up. Believe me, because I had a mom ask me yesterday about it, or last week about, getting a little bit of height on their son who was behind his classmates, and although on an X-ray, growth plates are still open. I think you have to be careful because a lot of times you think about using growth hormone, and again, it's just unless you meet certain criteria, you just won't be able to get it from any endocrinologist that really is forthright. But they see a lot of requests for growth hormone that could have some negatives. But one interesting thing that some people do, and again, you need to wait till they're probably about 15, is to use an estrogen blocker like anastrozole. We use it, of course, in men that we have on testosterone to block down romanization to estradiol. But it might be a good way at about age 15, not age 12 or 13, to block down the estrogen, which tends to close the growth plates. But so those are, it says you're gonna have a hard time getting, unless that person is really unless they're just really, really short, you're gonna have a hard time getting an endo to give you growth hormone. But if it's terrible, but if you're just looking for a couple more inches on a person that's kind of normal, then it's tough. So I'm gonna see what True Height's all about. Maybe an anastrozole. But again, I think the timing of it's important, because you want to get as much natural growth as you can before those growth plates change. And what I find, it's really variable. I mean, some shortest people are normal height. As adults, they just haven't reached their growth spurt yet. So, but I'll certainly look up that True Height. I'm really interested in, because I haven't seen it advertised around here. And again, if it's something to do with hormones, I usually am pretty up on it. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because occasionally I have somebody ask me that. And just last week, I had a good question. My son's projected to be 5'10". I want him to be 6 feet.
Yeah.
For baseball.
Yep.
And so I'm gonna find out about that product.
Thank you, David, for this. And what we'll probably do is when we come back in a couple weeks, we'll be back January 7th, I believe. We'll
revisit it. That might be a good. That might be a really good podcast as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, David, for bringing that to my attention. I'm gonna.
Thank you, David. David said it's not a drug, more of a supplement plan designed for kids. We should look more into that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, David. And thank you, Katie, for helping Laura out with the infrared. Let's get to Roel real quick. And Doctor, are compression socks only for diabetics? It's a great question.
No.
Yeah.
They're for people that have any kind of swelling in their lower extremities, a little venous insufficiency. A lot of people use them for athletic competitions. They use it for protection of joints, circulation. No, I love compression socks.
Mm.
If you don't sleep well, if you can get some compression socks that just fit from your ankle down below your toes, so they don't encompass your toes. And most people sleep better in them because they help your circulation at night. And if you compression socks during the day, if you're on your feet all the time, you get a little swelling, pain. Try them; they're great. They're not just for diabetics.
And they're not prescription, right? They're like you can just get them. I've gotten some at
Yeah, you can. There
Dick's
are
Sporting Goods.
prescription, so your insurance may cover them if you're diabetic. For non-diabetics, probably not cover them, but they're inexpensive.
Okay. Thank you, Roel, for this. And I'm also going to put this comment up from Roel. Bought my wife a walking pad from Amazon. I can't believe how well it works. Very affordable. And if they're a little bit older, get the one with Hellner's. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is a little treadmill just to get more steps in. Thank you for this, Roel.
I just ordered as a little Christmas present to myself a reverse curved treadmill.
Yeah.
It's called True Grit.
Yeah.
And you walk backwards on it. Of course, you can go forward, but it's self-propelled. There's no motor, like the one you probably mentioned. Probably no motor on it. I like the self-propelled ones.
Yeah.
Haven't come in yet, but I like for seniors like me with play pickleball. I want to prevent knee problems. And walking backwards is a great way to do that.
And I see a lot of times at the gym, I'll see people, pulling weighted sleds backwards, and they're moving backwards. It's great for your knees. Thank you, Roel, for that comment. I see here. Yeah. Tom saying get a reverse hyper too. I love that. He needs a reverse hyper. I see Emily, thank you so much for that. Emily's our esthetician in Johnson City. I'll put this up for Dad. I want to open my growth place. Andy and Kelly. Andy, of course, is 6'3".
Kelly's tall too. Kelly's
Yeah.
5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
Actually, being an insulin-dependent diabetic, when you give yourself insulin, it helps you grow. It's a growth. It's a growth factor. Not that you need to give yourself insulin. You don't, believe me. But
yeah,
it's interesting that both of them are very tall.
Okay, I'm gonna put this up. I love this from my man Dave here, and I'm interested too. Is this white guitar in the background? Is that
Hey,
new?
Dave.
Like what is it?
Oh,
Well, give us the deets.
I've had it for about 3 or 4 years. It's a Gretsch White Falcon, and unless you're looking at my Fender, now you're looking at
that the white one.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah,
that one right there. No, that's a Fender Telecaster, Jimmy Page 50-year anniversary model. So that's a Fender Tele, but most people point out my Gretsch White Falcon on the bottom end. That's really probably my best electric guitar. But that's a Jimmy Page special. That's a great guitar too. But that one down there is what most people ask me about. But and again, I wish the Gretsch was a vintage. It isn't. Some of my guitars are vintage. Like my Les Paul Customs, it's an old one. And my Fender Stratocaster is an old one. But what else got back there? No, I've got a few. And I have a silver tone 1960 model with a built-in amp in case. So I like the old guitars, and I'm glad you asked that because I didn't realize they were sitting right behind me. But but don't ask me to play them right now. I'm not on Dave's level by any stretch of the imagination. But thank you for that. I love guitars. I just love to collect them and play them.
Does it have a Bigsby?
Bigsby, yeah, it does. Bigsby, yeah. The Gretsch does, certainly does, yeah.
I got to ask you this, Pop. When I was playing basketball, I used to think that the shoes I bought, helped me jump a little higher. So I got to ask you, do any of these guitars help your playing ability? Do you feel like you're a better player when you're playing these, the Jimmy Page, for example? Do any of them increase your guitar skills?
No.
You don't sound any
Let me tell
better.
you, the only thing that will increase your guitar skills are practicing the guitar. Just like anything, you have to just practice. It doesn't matter what you're playing. You just have to put the time in.
And I can confirm none of the shoes that I got for Christmas helped me jump any higher.
I wish they did.
Man, I think that does it for the questions. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I promise we'll make up for it. We love you guys. We hope everybody has such a blessed Christmas. As Mark brought up, I really hope everybody, take some time to themselves, is able to, set boundaries. And we got great resources. If you haven't listened to the Jamie Winship episode on hope, please do. I'll put this up if I can find it. There we go. It's on our YouTube channel. Check that out during the holiday season. Share it with somebody who needs a little bit of this. I know I'm going to watch it again. And I hope you guys also check this out before you go to all these holiday parties here soon. And I'll just go ahead and preface this. Lucas is very relaxed when it comes to Christmas. He himself, allows himself to indulge a little bit. So it's a great episode. I hope you guys will check it out. Real quick, I want to put this up for those who are looking for vitamins. The Dr. Rogers vitamins are only on performancemedicine.net. You can scan that QR code right there. It's a great gift. It's also probably a better gift for yourself. I hope you guys will check some of those vitamins out. We've mentioned a few of them tonight. Looks like Dad is gone. Oh, there he is.
I didn't cut myself out.
Hey,
still here.
Let us know how we did. Did we? I see D. Lynn gave us a 10. Steve, my brother, gave us a 10. Thank you so much, ma'am. You guys are the best. So many on our team were here tonight. We appreciate you guys so much.
Have a great holiday. We'll look forward to a new year. We're going to explore a lot of new things. And you want to see the dogs on the way out?
Oh yeah, let's do. I need to see the dogs.
Okay, come here. All right. All right. They're being a little shy tonight, Ben.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Tom. You guys are the best.
Good boy. Good girl.
All right, here's
Big girl.
Izzy.
Big girl.
All right, say
There's Izzy.
say happy holidays.
She's in the holiday spirit. She's like, I don't want to be in the camera.
Everybody needs a dog. Everybody needs a dog.
Big girl.
Maybe two dogs.
Jillian, that's so sweet, Jillian. I appreciate you. It's so good to see you.
Maybe you need two dogs. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at Ike. Ike, look at the camera. He probably can't hear me.
Can't hear you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays,
Yes,
Pop. I
yes,
love
yes.
you, man.
Love you
I'll
too.
see you
Night.
here shortly. I'll be up, of course, in Kingsport for Christmas. I cannot wait to spend it with you and Mom and the fam. Love you, man. Thank you for tonight.
Love you. Good night.
All right, guys, we are out of here. There we go. We love you. We'll be back January 7th, better than ever. We cannot wait to be back with you. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season. Special thank you to all of our performance medicine team. We love you. All right, where's my outro, Brad? Looking for my outro. See you guys.
Don't go away.